Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley with The Green Kitchen. We're here on Heart of the Home, and I want to show you guys a delicious Valentine's Day dessert, chocolate pot de creme. Very rich in chocolate, and believe it or not, very little sugar. We're going to start out with a combination of heavy cream and milk. You're going to put that into a burner on the stove. Try not to let it come to a boil. You just want to see little bubbles around the edges. And from here, we're going to add a teaspoon of espresso powder. We're going to whisk that around. I have a little secret ingredient I'm going to teach you guys about. It's chocolate sea salt. I love using this in all of my chocolate desserts. And yes, you do want a little bit of a salt, believe it or not, in a dessert. So we're going to add a little pinch of salt in our milk and cream and espresso mixture. Then we're going to come back and we're going to add some chocolate chips. I happen to use a Ghirardelli, but really any chocolate chip you want to use is fine. You want to stir that around and let the chocolate get nice and melted. That'll take just a moment and we'll be right back. All right, so the chocolate is melting in our cream and milk and espresso mixture with that little bit of chocolate sea salt. Now we're going to separate eggs. This is something that a lot of people do differently, but I'll show you the way I do it. I call it hand-to-hand combat. Now, I don't want to waste the whites. I can actually use those for several things. I can either make an egg white omelet the next morning or put it on my dog's food if I'd like. So we're just going to separate it and put the whites in a bowl. I prefer to do barehanded on this. I feel like it makes a cleaner egg. But you know what? If the yolk busts, you can just grab another egg. So we want the egg yolks in a bowl and the egg whites in a separate bowl. And did you know that you can also freeze egg whites? So you could put those in the freezer and have them maybe for macarons another time. All right, now we'll clean my hands a little bit. Now what we have here, we have egg yolks, and we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar and another little pinch of chocolate sea salt. And we're going to whisk that up. Now, one of the things that's kind of important is if we tried to add all the egg yolks to the chocolate and cream mixture, it would probably tend to scramble the eggs. So you want to do a little technique called tempering, and that's where you bring one temperature of something up to the other temperature. So we're going to pour just a touch of the chocolate cream mixture into our egg yolks. I'm going to whisk that up. Then we're going to turn right around and dump it all back into the pot with the chocolate, the cream, the milk, the sea salt, and the espresso powder. Get that nice and combined. Now this next step, in my opinion, is actually what makes it so good. Not necessarily the flavor, but we are actually going to strain it. I think that's very important when it comes to making custards. The main reason is that you want to make sure you don't have any of those egg bits left over. So we're going to pour it right into a strainer, into a measure. And it's at this point you want to go ahead and start a kettle of hot water going on your stove. The reason for that is we're actually going to do what's called a bain-marie, or a hot water bath. These custards are typically cooked, they're steamed as opposed to baked. Now, as you can see here, that's one of the reasons that's so important about straining this. I see cooked bits of egg in here, and I don't want that when I take a bite of the pudding when it's done, or the pot de creme. So now we've strained it, and what we're going to do is pour it into our ramekins onto a pan. Our hot water will have come to a boil. You want to very carefully take this to your stove, to your oven, put it on the shelf, and then you want to pour hot water into the pan about halfway up of the ramekins, and then put it in a 300-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. You're going to take the pot of cremes very carefully out of the oven. You're going to have obviously hot water in your pan. Sometimes the best way to go about it would be to put a spatula underneath the ramekin itself and take it out very carefully. And then you want to let it set overnight for just till it chills, or if you're going to have them for dinner that night, maybe early in the morning. But when they come out, you're looking for nice and thick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to top it with a little bit of whipped cream. And then just as a little added touch, I'll take a chocolate chip and a microplane grater and go right over the top and give it a nice little chocolate dusting. The great thing that I love about this recipe is one recipe makes about 24 ounces, which is about 2.5 cups. In that 2.5 cups is only 2 tablespoons of sugar. So if you think about dividing that 24 ounces between a 3 to 4 ounce ramekin, think about how little sugar you're actually getting. So it's actually healthy, and chocolate is a plant, they say, right? Thank you very much. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.